Today I'm going to be talking about mature boundary protection, healthy detachment, and holding space for your children. And this is especially challenging if you're an empathic mom like me. As the Course in Miracles says, I teach what I most need to learn and remember too. And this is an ongoing action plan for those of us who are parenting special needs children. So what is a boundary? A boundary is a limit that promotes integrity between yourself and another person, in this case, your child. It's been a challenging journey to figure out how to set boundaries once you discovered that your child's development careened wildly off course. There is no clear-cut map to tell you exactly what the reasonable expectations are for a child who has complex and multifaceted dependency needs. I'm sure you've discovered that you are in a position to step up to the plate and provide a level of support that you never imagined before your motherhood journey began. I know that in my case, my son Mark and I shared blurred and enmeshed boundaries for years, and it's still an ongoing challenge. It's so easy to fall into the trap of overdoing, overcaring, and over-supporting your child because you're so aware of the way in which that child is struggling. Let's face it, our kids face down challenges that would topple adults and are subjected to ongoing injustice. So where is the line? That's very confusing. And I'm going to be glancing at some notes because I want to make sure that I cover all of the important points today. So another trap that's very easy to step into is the trap of chronic worrying. And Abraham Hicks has a great instructive quote that I certainly didn't understand when my son was younger. Quote, "You can't create in the lives of your children. They create their own reality. But when you worry on their behalf and you activate negative things in your vibration that have to do with them, then it's more likely for those negative things to be activated in them. And then it's more likely for them to attract those negative things into their experience," unquote. So what is one antidote for worrying? That antidote is to remember that your child has come in with his own purpose for living and has been given all the tools he needs to fulfill that purpose. You already know at your deepest core that your children aren't here for you to be comfortable. In fact, your child is not here to conform to a prescribed set of arbitrary standards that soothes your ego. I'm Karen Hasselow, the founder of Spirit First Coaching, an author, speaker, and a caregiver to my 26-year-old indigo son, Mark. My mission is to empower and uplift the divine sisterhood of moms who are parenting special needs children so that they can unconditionally embrace acceptance and flow into grace. Special needs children are here in record numbers, and they are here to push us far out of our comfort zones and to help us master our own spiritual curriculum. By detaching from your child's process, you will help him stand in his power and actually step up to his fullest capacities. Your ego's no longer going to be fixated on appeasing him by monitoring his emotions and then adjusting your own set of behaviors. Abraham Hicks tells us that doing that is setting ourselves up for more disharmony. So when you detach, you let go of your child's process and you give them permission to throw their own gutter balls in life. Hugh Del Conzo, in the Human Handbook, A Guide to the Inner You, says that detachment is dancing in the rain mastery. I love that. So when you dance in the rain, it also means, very importantly, that your child's feelings, needs, and wants are to be valued but not owned. That is so key. It means that you consistently choose your own happiness over your ego's righteousness. When you detach, it means that you make peace with the fact that your child is exactly where he's supposed to be, doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing for his highest good, even when it doesn't feel good to him or to you, because in a perfectly evolving universe, it cannot be any other way. Your objective as a mom is to be passionate about your parenting journey while remaining dispassionate about any so-called parenting rewards. And it is a tall order. When you decide to detach, you surrender to the unknown and you embrace the joy and uncertainty that comes with watching how your path is going to unfold. Detachment transforms yearning into faith. Yearning is this needy, desperate, fear-based energy that has you chasing and clinging to outcomes, all in your ego's attempt to protect you from a reality that you may not be prepared to face. And I know in my case, my ego had me on that treadmill for years. I was under the delusion that I could completely recover my son from autism by forcing the universe. And in the process of doing that, I sacrificed my marriage, my well-being, and my health, which is why I'm passionate about teaching these tools today. So we know that yearning is never the answer. It's important to recognize that no matter how your child presents in his physical body, he has his own internal anchor that invariably is guiding and leading him in the right spiritual direction. It's a matter of stepping back and trusting that your child has that guidance system and honoring that, because that's going to allow your child to create more balance in his life. And it's also going to let your child move through trial and error without you interfering in his learning process. So it's about holding space for your child and staying grounded in detached involvement. And what that means is that you're able to show up in your fullest expression of yourself, and you're able to accompany your child on his journey without judging whatever experiences he is creating, while remaining open to moving into any undisclosed destination with him. Here's a key though. In order to hold space on his behalf, first, you've got to show up for yourself and hold space on your behalf by honoring your own emotions, by paying attention to your own self-talk, by investing in your own healing journey, by creating focused presence and showering yourself with an unlimited amount of unconditional love, self-compassion, and self-forgiveness. Holding space means you stand back, trusting your child to move through a process that serves his highest good. Holding back means that you trust the empathic connection you have with your child, and you have a vision for him on his behalf, knowing that he is able to navigate his own circumstances. Holding space means that you're able to actively listen and attune yourself to whatever communication is coming forth from your child. And that means being present in your body and opening your heart space and listening with your heart, not only to the words that are shared, if there are words, but to whatever the emotional subtext is. So that means being able to tune into what is not being said, but is very much active in your child's energy field without taking responsibility for it. Holding space means that you also create a safe space for your child to connect with his own pain and to surface it and to release whatever he needs to release without interference from your ego. Holding space means that you enter into these interactions from a place of neutrality. And that's really tough. But when you can do it, what happens is your child doesn't have anything to push back against. Also, when you enter into that space from your own neutral zone, you're able to observe your own unmet needs and how those might be playing out. And you may be actually projecting some of those unmet needs onto your child. And whenever that happens, that's a time to pivot and come back to yourself and see how you need to reparent your own wounded inner children. Remember, your child's an energy sponge who is always showing you what parts of yourself you're discounting and disowning. And that is a beautiful gift that your child gives you. Connor Beaton teaches that when we hold space, we're able to witness someone else's emotional state while staying present to our own state. So here are some key questions to ask yourself that's going to help you stay in that zone of neutrality. How much time are you spending actually attuning to your own needs? When there's a key choice point, how much are your needs being put into the equation? Is your ego driving you to rescue your child from an experience that he has created? Do you find yourself stepping into circumstances when your child already possesses the independent skills to master whatever is in front of him? Are you asking too many follow-up questions after your child has already navigated a circumstance? Do you think it's your job to scope out and stamp out your child's so-called deficiencies? Ouch, I know I've done that. Are you unwittingly getting an emotional payoff for being too much of a support system to your child? Are you holding your child back from taking risks and going out of his comfort zone because you're afraid that he's going to fail or be subjected to rejection? Are you avoiding the hard choices because your child's going to melt down or react when you want to shift him out of his status quo? Are you allowing your child to impose himself in areas that are your adult responsibility? And finally, are you rigidly imposing a view of how he should be navigating his life? When you choose healthy detachment, you take yourself out of the unnecessary cycle of yearning for outcomes, clinging to a specific outcome, and then taking the crash when your child creates an experience that didn't line up with your ego's preconceived ideas. Are you ready to dump the struggle that comes from being enmeshed in your child's autonomous journey? Are you ready to gift yourself the freedom that comes from having faith in the right circumstances and the right people showing up for your child without you micromanaging the how? Are you ready to shift into becoming that neutral observer? Are you ready to let go by answering this key question? Whose problem or challenge is this? You can't audit the class for your child. You're there to support, advocate on his behalf, and create an environment that is a great match to his needs so that he can flourish, but you can't do the work for him. What you can do is master your own emotional and spiritual curriculum. Beginning today, decide that you will no longer scatter or unnecessarily sacrifice your energy in service to the reasons that your child incarnated here. I'd love to have you comment and let me know if anything I've shared today in this video has surfaced something for you and what that might be. Also, I invite you to go to Facebook at Spirit First Coaching and like my page so that you can receive more Spirit First Mom tips that will help you become an empowered mom who creates grace and ease. Create a beautiful day. Namaste.